welcome to another up close video. Today's one is for Tonic Showcase number 27, which is the Christmas tree. And as you can see from the die set, it has two different Christmas trees as options as well. You've got this gorgeous kind of like a little bit more cartoony with like these little swirls that come up on the edges, and then you've got this gorgeous Christmas tree which kind of looks like the sort of one you'd see in a big shopping centre, you know, where they come all the way down to the ground, but this one's actually got loads of snowflakes in it as well. And those of you who keep up with Tonic on the telly as well on CRaFTi might remember, it was a while ago now, they brought out a family tree die set that came out with some of their 3D frames that you could build. And the family tree, it was this concept of like the tree had a score line down the centre of it, and the idea was that you cut like 4 of them out, folded them all in half and stuck them all together, so that they ended up creating this 3-dimensional tree. And it is exactly the same concept for both of these trees as well. And with that tree and with these trees, you can either do it with the solid like base of the tree and just use your scoreboard to give you the score line down the centre, or you can decorate with the gorgeous panels on here as well, or you can just use, well, for this one you do need the outside edge to cut with the decorative detail, and you could actually just keep it intricate if you want to, so that you could see all the way through these openings. Because the tree is exactly symmetrical, you can completely line up the other folded one on the other side, if that makes sense. So all of the detail will perfectly line up and you'll just be able to see through all of the delicate lacy kind of swirly detail. Or you can cut one solid and then cut one with the detail, stick them both on top of each other, reinforce that score line and then stick them all together that way, which is actually better if you don't like too much like fiddly lining up of dies, because the only fiddly lining up will be sticking the intricate one onto the solid one. Then when it comes to actually sticking all 4 trees together, it would just be solid to solid. Or you can stick the decorative detail onto a vellum solid one, and then you kind of have the stability of it being onto like a solid backing, but you can still kind of see through that detail a little bit as well. And I've done one in both different ways so that you can see that. And then the difference between this tree and this one, the actual like main outside bubble piece is standalone, and this one already has its cutting edge on the tree. This one you have to cut both together to get the decoration and the tree, but this one, the gorgeous decoration, is a tree all by itself, but you have the option to stick it onto this solid one if you want to make it stronger, if you want to do the vellum idea, or if you just don't like having to line up loads of fussy little details. You can just stick your die cut, your intricate die cut, onto the solid one, and then you only have to line up the sides of the solid one. Both of the trees that I will show you later on, I have made with the 4 die cuts. So basically, once you've stuck them together, if you look from above, it will be like the 4 points on the clock or the 4 points on a compass. So they'll be like stuck together like this. But as you're putting them together, you might notice that you can get away with 3 trees if you want to. For example, if you were making loads of them for like table centre decorations for a Christmas party or something, you could get away with just 3 trees for each one if you wanted to just cut out one step of die cutting. But you can also put more trees in as well. So when I was decorating for Christmas last year, I had some of those cool bottle brush trees that are just kind of like this, and they've got all the little bristles poking out. I was thinking this one in particular, maybe cut it 8 to 12 times and do the idea of sticking the intricate detail to the intricate detail rather than having the solid outside edge, and it would probably create that kind of bottle brush sort of effect, because having more die cuts would give it a fuller kind of feel. And being this kind of intricate pattern, it kind of gives that sort of holy or not quite solid sort of idea that a bottle brush tree has. I think that kind of idea would work really nicely with this one, so I wanted to mention that. And actually, if you were going to do that kind of thing and sticking so many of these intricate ones together, you might want to go down like the spray adhesive kind of route to stick them together, rather than having to dot on tiny little bits of adhesive all over like the backing details. Maybe a spray adhesive would be better for something like that. So let's have a look at the whole die set. This is a showcase, by the way, I think I said that already. So it comes with the magnetic sheet and the wallet to keep it in as well, which is always useful to have it already ready to store. And I will put links to this showcase below the video, and there will be affiliate links too, so I really do appreciate you taking the time to use them. And if it's still available, I don't know if it is, but if it is, I will link that family tree down below as well, because that kind of gives you a non-Christmas version too. Although, you probably could, especially this one, if you took the star off the top, so if you completed the cut line and made it to a point at the top of the tree, it would just look like an evergreen sort of fir tree, and you could maybe just make it like woodland themed and have all the wilderness adventures, the little fox and stuff from that. Or I'm sure there's been other die cut animals or even stamps from the stamp clubs and stuff. You could have little critters, or there was the squirrel, wasn't there, on the campfire critters. You could even have like squirrels in the tree or something as well. So I really do think, although this is Christmas and it's called Christmas tree, you could get away with using it for more like woodlandy kind of ideas as well, because this one, it's just swirly. There's nothing actually Christmassy about it. This one definitely is more like winter and Christmas because it's full of sort of snowflake-ish kind of designs, but this one definitely you could use for other occasions as well. So I think this is a really nice kind of set for those Christmas projects, but that could be used at another time as well. So I'll give you measurements for these actually. If I do this measurement, so this is, I'm going to do both the outside edge measurement, so if you just use the detail of this tree, it would just be slightly less, but this one, even if you were just using the detail, would be the same because you have to use this cutting edge. But the base for this is 4 3/4 inches or 12 centimeters. So when you put this together, it will be that by that in both directions. So it's a decent sized base that will make it stand up really nicely, and especially if you're doing solid with decorative, it's going to be a nice sturdy element as well. And when I was sticking my decorative pieces to the solid ones, I actually only stuck them down the trunk of the tree, and so there's actually, it looks fuller because you've got the 4 pieces of all of these stuck together, and then you have 2 extra pieces on each side of these bits sort of flapping around. I will show you that, but it gives it kind of like a fuller kind of effect. If you don't want to go to the effort of die cutting even more than 4 of them, you can still give that extra dimension just by not completely sticking down the decorative detail. And then the height of this tree, right from the tip of the star down to the base, is 7.5 inches or 19 centimeters. So it's a nice decent height tree as well. And then for the other one, I think it's probably about the same, to be honest. It is about 4 7/8 inches or 12.5 centimeters for the base of the tree, and then from top to bottom it is 7 3/4 inches by 19.5 centimeters. So really decent sized trees that are going to make a nice focal point, either for like a display on like the table in the hallway as you come in the front door, or on your sideboard, or maybe around the television actually as well. You could have one of these little trees next to the television, that kind of idea, whether it's for that or whether it's for an actual like table decoration in the centre of the Christmas table, or just in the centre of the dining table in like November, December kind of time. I think they're a really nice decent sized kind of project, and there is nothing to stop you from making only half a tree as well. So if there was some kind of area, for example, on like the table by the front door or something, where you normally put your keys, or you have the landline or something, if it's not too deep of a table and you don't have much room, you could just make half a tree. You could do the 4 intricate die cuts, but then you could just stick them to one solid backing piece to keep it flat, and then have the other ones doming out at the top. You know, you get those like little decorations that you sometimes get them around the top of straws, where they kind of have a pattern, and you pull one round and put it round the other way, and you get all of that detail sticking out on them. If you've seen them, you'll know what I mean. But it will kind of give that sort of a look, where it would just be all sort of puffing out the front, and that would be a way of getting a fuller effect but not having to do as much die cutting, because you just have half a tree as well. So that could be a really cool idea. And if you have a fridge that magnets will stick to, like if it's not in a cupboard or it's not an aluminium one, you could do a half tree, put magnets on it, and then you could actually have a Christmas tree in the kitchen on the fridge as well, which would be quite a cool idea. Or stuck to a radiator in a kid's bedroom or something. So there are loads of different ways of using this tree, whether it's the full tree or whether it's the half tree. And I'll give you an up-close look at the actual trees as well. So the intricate detail of both of them has the score line to be able to allow you to fold the tree in half to do the cool three-dimensional effect. But because it's down the centre, you don't have to actually fold it. It just kind of looks like a design feature because it's just right down the centre of the trunk of the tree. So you can actually use this as a tree on a card, and I used it as a 3-layer tree on a smaller card, which I'll show you as well. And I also used this one just as a design element on a card as well, and I did 2 of them. So it could be 2 trees next to each other and you're looking through the middle of them, or it could just be a sort of right angled triangle decorative sort of piece as well. So there's other ways of using them too. And if you want to get the score line on the solid one, your Tonic Super Trimmer is perfect for that because you have the grey blade, which is the scoring blade as well, which will give you the perfect, accurate kind of scoring line right down the centre. And it's really easy to line it up as well, because you can go from the top of the star, the point of the star, and then you can, you know, make sure, use your grid lines on the base of the trimmer to make sure that it's square and line up the base of it, and then you should get the perfect score line all the way down the middle. If you look up close at the detail on this one as well, you can see that beautiful like scroll sort of detail, which is perfect for Nuvo drops if you wanted to add Nuvo drops on all these areas, or the decorations that we have for the trees as well. You can actually like hang them over these twirly areas too. I'm sorry if you can hear the neighbour doing the gardening. I can hear it and it's annoying me, but hopefully you can't hear it. Yeah, so there's loads of gorgeous like swirly areas that you could hang the actual decorations off of, or you could use your Nuvo to accent this as well. And on the top of this tree you actually have a little fall away star, so you can then use that to decorate another project. You could cut multiples of these and stick them on the tree, or you can actually cut that out of like a mirror card and place it back in, which I've done on mine. It looks really good doing that as well. Then the other tree, if you look at it up close, you can see there's a couple of snowflake kind of details within here, and then I guess they're mostly the only snowflakes that you can see. Unless you look at the whole tree together, this kind of looks like a snowflake going across there as well. But it's very ice kind of themed, I think. So I actually turned mine into like an icy kind of tree, and I did it out of blue, and I put Glacier paste and Glimmer paste and glitter accents and stuff all over mine. It looks really lovely. And even the waste paper, because I'd put it on a piece of scrap paper to then add all of the Nuvo stuff over the top, and the waste paper looks fantastic as well. So I'll show you that too, because you could actually cut this and use it as a stencil if you wanted to as well. So yeah, really gorgeous designs in both trees, and I think they're both great for different themes. Like this one screams green tree with like red and gold decorations, and this one screams like icy kind of feel with like that blue and silver sort of colour scheme. So you've really got like more traditional and more like snow kind of themed, you know, sort of like the Let It Snow colours of confetti and sequins and stuff we had a while ago from Tonic, or the White Wonderland colour trend that gives me that kind of feel. Then we also have this sentiment here, which I didn't actually cut in the end, so I might cut one of them so you can see it. It says Merry Christmas in a really lovely scripty merry, and then it's got more of like a block lettering for Christmas, and they've kind of intertwined them, and then it looks as though the bubble that goes around it has got some extra swirl detail on it as well, which I'm presuming actually, now I'm thinking about it, is probably so that you can hook it onto the tree. So you'll have these little extra elements that you could then hook within the detail of either of the trees to get it to sit at the front of it or something. So we'll try that out later. I will die cut that to show you. And then we have loads of different elements that you can use to decorate the trees. We have these beautiful little words. I really love these words. I cut quite a lot of them out and used them on practically everything really. You've got the word joy, Noel, and then peace. And they're really cute, dinky little words. They're probably like 6mm high. They're really beautiful little words. They're all like capital letters that are sort of fused together. One of my other favourite decorations was the candy cane, and you actually have that debossed detail to give you the stripy effect on there. You've got loads of different baubles to choose from. You've got some that are completely, you know, like one cut pass through, and these from Mirror Card look fantastic because they've got that debossing detail in them. So this one's got a 5-pointed star, and it's got a pointy design. This one's a round design with like a snowflake in there. Then you've got these 3 different ones that have got different details that could go inside them. So you can either have them with details cut out, or you can cut them solid, or you can back the solid one behind the details, or you also have an alternative one that has just the debossing details if you want to as well, because then you only have to cut one and you don't have to back it with another colour. So you've got this more pointy kind of one, a circular one that has that sort of almost flowery sort of star, or you can do a 5-pointed debossing star, and then this one actually just has a smaller star inside it as well. Then that larger star there works perfectly as a gift tag. Maybe you were going to use these as place names if you have a small family and a big table. You could use them as like place names, and you could have the name hanging off of one of those little tags. You've also got this lovely circle too, which I'm guessing might fit behind there, and you could maybe put a little circle of Mirror Card behind that bauble as well using that little die. Then you've got an oval tag die as well that's got an extra layer to go on top of there, so that you could put someone's name again on there, or maybe turn this into some kind of advent thing as well and put the days of December on there too. You've got a gorgeous little bow which looks fantastic, cut from a solid colour or Mirror Card as well. You've got multiple little presents here. You've got 3 that are just completely cut ones, so just one pass through the machine, and you've got like a little side view of a bow and then a debossing heart. This one's got debossing stars on it with a little side view of a bow, and then this one has got the actual ribbon that debosses into it with the little tails coming up the sides too. And then these 2 are both extra presents, which you could put the bow on that present, or you can put the bow on the tree to decorate it. And these have different middles that you can put in them. So this one's got cut out stars, or you can have debossing little stripes in there. It's kind of debossing and embossing. And then the other one, you've got the little bow that actually cuts out with debossing stripes, or you can have the actual cross of a ribbon with spots that cuts out of it as well. So you've got loads of different presents to pick from, and then there's one last little kind of tag sort of element that could be a little bauble-y kind of design that hangs on the tree as well, that's a heart with a little debossed heart in it too. So many different elements to decorate the trees and completely change the theme of them. But do look through your stash as well for other little elements that you could put in. You could maybe turn it more into like a child's bedroom kind of decoration by adding in cute little characters poking out from behind the trees, or nestled into some of the detail and stuff as well. There's so many different options and ways that you can decorate, and other ways of kind of like using this as well, because if you put either 3 or 4 of them together, it will still fold flat. If you actually, the whole thing will still fold flat. Yeah, they will fold pretty flat, not completely flat, but they would fold flatter for storing, for decorating. Or I was just going to say, before I went off on a tangent, you could have 2 or 3 of them put together in the half tree style on like a scrapbook page, and then it would fold flat down. Or you could do it into like a 3D shadow box kind of frame, or you know, something like that. Put it in a photo frame that could come out at Christmas, and it would have that 3-dimensional element to it as well. So yeah, tons of different ways that you can use them. So I've got my 2 samples to show you, and a couple of cards as well, and I want to die cut this sentiment out to show you too. So let's die cut the sentiment first, so we can have a look at that, and then I can actually show you how it will link onto the tree as well. So it's going to be a weird colour, but at least it will show up for you to be able to see it. So we're going to do the bubble from white so that it's going to really show up and you can really see what this is going to look like when it's cut out. And then we'll do the actual sentiment from this ginger colour. Sorry, my chair's squeaking. Okay. So we have the bubble, which has got those little curly bits on that I'm presuming will link it to the tree nicely. And then we have that gorgeous sentiment. Oh, that is really lovely. Oh, there's a star in it as well. There's a couple of stars in it. I hadn't noticed the stars just looking at the die. But there's a couple of stars, 3 stars actually. There's one there, and then there's one there, and then there's one there. And then you can actually put this on the backing like that. And then if I bring both my trees in, I've done that one. You can see from the top you have like that little cross section to it, and this one as well. So I'm presuming it would probably work better if you've just used the intricate detail and not put a backing on it, or if you've left your intricate detail free like I have on this one. And then you could actually, I might actually put one of these on here to be honest, because that looks pretty nice actually. So you can actually hang the sentiment on the tree, which is really clever. I don't know why I didn't spot that before. I don't know whether this colour goes with it, but that looks really cool. You can actually just have the sentiment hanging on the tree. And this works really nicely with the way I've put this tree together, because this is the one where I said I did the solid ones and I stuck these back to back, the solid ones, so they're really sturdy and strong because they're double Craft Perfect texture card. And then all of the intricate detail I just stuck down the trunk of the tree, and I stuck these ones completely, but I just stuck the detail down the trunk of the tree. The stars are stuck completely, but the central section is just down the middle, and that actually allows you to pull those branches closer together to hook that sentiment on better. So that works really well for that kind of technique, adding the sentiment on. So I think I will add that on actually, because I think it could do with the sentiment too. But this is this tree that I did, and I've just decorated with loads of the little accents. So you've got the ornaments or the baubles that have the debossing designs into them, and then you've got the little candy canes that I cut from red and then used a gold pen to add the details on. And I also, even though I cut these from gold, I used the gold pen to add the bauble topper detail as well, because it kind of made the gold look different, gives like a matte kind of effect. And I did the same on the candy canes as well, so it gives a little bit of difference for the emboss and deboss kind of areas. And for each quadrant of the tree I swapped, so this one has got gold baubles and red candy canes, and then this one has got red baubles and gold candy canes, and then it goes gold baubles, red candy canes again. But I thought that made like a really nice difference to go around the tree if it kind of swapped with the decorations. So that is the gorgeous I'd say more modern, I don't know, more modern looking, more cartoony looking kind of, I'd say, with the sort of swirls coming up. But you could make that look even more realistic actually. So I don't know, I'm not very good at explaining whether things are modern or anything, but yeah, I really like that one. I think it's turned out really, really nicely. And if you wanted to, you could use one of your alcohol pens to colour this and these bits brown to make it look more like a trunk and some roots for the tree. You don't have to leave it all green. I just decided to in the end, and then I just replaced the little stars with gold ones. So I just put a piece of gold card under that star and cut it 4 more times, and then I had the little stars to push into those gaps as well. So that is 4 solid trees with 4 intricate trees on top of it. So you can see, even though it's just the 4, you've got so much more fullness from it, from not sticking those intricate panels all the way down. It gives a fuller kind of effect, because this one is just 4, but actually it's only 2 solid ones and then 4 intricate ones, because I used vellum. So I decided to use 1 layer of vellum and stick the tree onto that, and then there's another layer of vellum with the tree onto here, and then the 2 in between are stuck to the other side of the vellum. So if you look from the top, there's 1 bit of vellum here, 1 bit of vellum here, and the other 2 trees are just stuck to the details that you could see through the vellum. So I didn't want to defeat the point of using vellum by doubling it up and then making it less see-through, so I just kind of did it that way instead, but I really like how this one turned out, and I kept this one really simple. I accented it or decorated it with some starlit snowflake confetti or sequins, and then I also added the little words cut from white because I had some left over, and then to actually make it look really gorgeous and pretty, I used some Turquoise Topaz Glimmer paste, some Iron Frost Glacier paste, and also some Atlantic Drift glitter accents as well to decorate the cardstock. And I cut it from the Denim coloured cardstock, and then I used all of those 3 beautiful Nuvo products to decorate, and this is what the scrap paper looked like. So you could actually utilise this in some cards as well. You could just use it as it is. You could add watercolours or aquaflows over the top to colour the white paper, but the rest of it would stay beautiful and sparkly and blue, and you'd have that subtle kind of pattern on there. So you can actually still utilise your scrap paper from that kind of a project. And then I thought, well, I know I like to show you card ideas with this as well, and I thought, well, I could show you lots of ideas with like the small little presents and bits and pieces like that, but I'm sure I've done that in previous years for Christmas kind of sets, so I decided to just do 2 cards, and then there is one that matches each tree. So the one that matches the gorgeous Nuvo tree has just got 1 tree, which I cut in half and then used half on each side of the card. So it could be that you're looking at 2 trees in a forest, or it could be just beautiful icy, snowflakey decoration, like border panels or something. And then I've just used the little Noel word across the bottom, so it just says Noel. This is actually some of the pearled silver vellum from Tonic, which is the vellum that I used here as well, and I had cut an extra one of the outside bubble, so this here is actually the edge of the outside bubble, but then I ripped the top of it, so this would actually line up with the edge of this, but I thought that would be a nice way of showing you how to use you know, a different way of how to use the bubble element of this. It just gives a random scallopy kind of effect to it, and it looks really lovely mixed with a torn edge as well. And then I've just used the Noel 5 times across there, and then I finished off with some more of those starlit snowflakes and some silver moon dust. Was it silver moon dust? Nope, it was silver crystals, Nuvo glitter drops. Just to kind of fill in that white space a little bit more as well. So there we have the matching card to go with that tree. And then obviously I couldn't leave the other tree out, so I had to do a matching card to go with this tree as well. And this one's got a mix of both different candy canes and both different baubles on there as well. And for the background, I just used a ton of those little words again. So the joy, Noel and peace, just randomly placed all over the background. I didn't put any under here. I made sure I knew where I wanted the tree to go, and then tried to put them in any areas where there might be white space showing. And then I used one of each again on the actual tree as like the sentiment portion as well, to add that onto there. And then I've just decorated with loads of the little bauble decorations and stuff too. So you can see how easy it is to add this to a card. And you could have put 3 or 4 of these together and made the 3-dimensional tree on the front of the card as well, and just placed your die so you only cut the 3 parts of the tree rather than the 4th bit as well, to save on some cardstock. So you could just multiply out that small portion of the tree too. And I do think it would look lovely as well if you use like a gold pen or something over the top of the star, or if you completely use the actual star as well as the interior piece from the gold as well, to make it a completely gold star too. But because I'd left it on the tree, I left it on the card as well, so they matched together. Oh, and I also wanted to say, this tree, you can only get 2 full trees out of an A4 piece of card. So think about when you're making this, how many bits of card you want to go through. You're going to need, if you do this tree, you would need 2 sheets of the darker green card that I used for the solid, and 2 sheets of the pine tree green card that I used for the intricate detail. And I think this was fern green. I think it was fern and pine green. So you would need 2 sheets of each to make this tree, plus a bit of red and some gold to do the decorations. But then this tree, you only needed 1 1/3 sheets of the denim cardstock. Because this tree is tapered into a triangle, you can actually get 3 out of 1 sheet of A4. So if I bring that scrap back in, you can actually cut 1 like this, and then if I hold my finger there to show where it was, you can flip it and you can cut the next one, and then you can flip it and cut the next one as well. So you can actually get 3 of these out of 1 sheet. So if you did want to go for the thicker, fuller looking tree, you'd only need 2 sheets of card to get 6 trees out of it as well. And especially if you're just going to do the intricate detail. And actually, if you were going to do the intricate detail backed onto vellum and you wanted 6 trees, it would only be 2 sheets of the blue card and 1 sheet of the vellum to do that as well. So if you're going to be doing these like a table centre decoration or something, you can have a think about which kind of tree you would want to do for how much cardstock you're prepared to use for the trees as well. So I just thought I'd mention that. It's always nice to know how much card something's going to take, but I often forget to tell you, or I have cut stuff far in advance and then I can't remember how many I got out of a piece of card or something. So hopefully that was useful to you as well. So I hope you enjoyed this up close video looking at Tonic Showcase number 27, which is called Christmas Tree, and saw a couple of ways how to turn these into 3-dimensional Christmas trees and make matching cards for them as well. And hopefully other bits that I've said would sort of spark ideas for you too, of different ways you might want to turn this into different trees as well. And actually, I definitely think if you were going to make these for like a display, making a 3D tree in the different sizes as well would look fantastic. So just cutting off 1 tier of this tree, or even 2 tiers of the tree as well, and making different height trees would look fantastic to make like a little display. And yeah, I think this is a really fun die set that you could actually, you could do all the die cutting. You could get your grandkids to put it all together. So you could have one example that you've already stuck together and they could have a go at either putting it together or just decorating it with all the little bits and pieces as well. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you again in the next one. Bye!